So for my first story, I have Walmart bringing commerce to ChatGPT. Did you see that this week?
I have, yes. I've followed Justin on LinkedIn, so I saw a few things coming up from his feed. But tell me more about it because I haven't. I knew you were going to talk about it, so I haven't delved into what it meant and
Yeah,
what does that look like
it's
essentially for
really
them.
exciting, and it's something that we talked about at that AI conference a lot. But essentially,
Okay,
Walmart has partnered with OpenAI to bring commerce inside of ChatGPT, and they're describing it as a AI first shopping experience. So this first is it's coming out pretty soon. They didn't say exactly when, but probably in the next couple weeks or so.
okay,
So it's available to Sam's Club members first, and then they're going to roll it out more broadly.
nice.
But they're really talking about this shift in a retail experience from being reactive to proactive. And this is the quote that I thought was really interesting. They're saying it learns, plans, and predicts, helping customers anticipate their needs before they do. So I don't know, does that scare you or do you think that's cool?
I think it's quite. I mean, it's quite good because it's Walmart at the end of the day, so they probably will know. I don't know. You go through 2 cartons of milk every week, therefore they might prompt you that it's time to buy it again. Or I don't
Proactive.
know. I feel like Amazon does that a little bit already, where they have like push notification, but it's not as perfect. So maybe this is something that will make the experience better. I don't mind that. I don't mind. I think.
Yeah, no, it could be helpful. And I think you gotta give props to Walmart because historically, they've led commerce in immersive platforms. I just wanna, kinda point out how they're rolling out the Unity SDK. So basically, any game, that is running on Unity can incorporate the ability to sell Walmart products inside, so that's at scale. And then in addition to that, in the UGC gaming platforms, they're also leading, and this is work that Sawhorse and Geek partner with Roblox on or Walmart on in order to bring commerce into Roblox, Zepeto, and Spatial. So
That's
this is
right.
like just more of this innovative commerce leadership that the company is doing. And I think what's interesting to me is that this is a new kind of shopping. This is like an agentic sort of AI shopping. If you think about the concept of shopping and commerce, it's like, it's all based on search. So right now, users like go onto the internet, they search for a brand, they go to websites, they get to see all the different options. They kind of pick what they want and then they just hit purchase and it shows up at their house. That's something that works. It's something that people really like. So this is a shift to where you're having conversations with ChatGPT in your daily life, and maybe all of your shopping will happen inside of ChatGPT. So not only can you like review different clothing items and make your purchases inside of that, but the agent will know who you are and what kind of style you like and what you need in your life. And it should be curating all these options for you and then pitching those solutions. So, can you imagine where we have a world where we don't go to websites to shop anymore? It's all happening with our agents and our AI. What are your
I think
thoughts?
that is probably closer to a reality than we think. I feel like the number of people that are now deciding on the shopping behavior, I feel like it really is changing. The initial funnel that we have, which is like the awareness of the product, engagement, etc. I think like now you have a much shorter time frame where you can get the information through ChatGPT, you tell them exactly what you want, and it gives you recommendation. And I think the last bit is probably the purchase that needed to be solved. But I think at some point there's obviously going to be a shift in how brands are thinking about their D2C, their websites, the content that they put together to make sure that people can find more easily, or those LLMs can find more easily the information that's going to make them recommend product to consumers. So, and just to point out, you right on Walmart, where they've been leading when it comes to immersive platform like Roblox and Zepeto, as you mentioned. And I think it's really important to remember that even back in e-commerce, beginning of e-commerce, they were already leading, and they are one of the largest e-commerce retailers as well, behind Amazon. So it's a good signals for other retailers that if Amazon is doubling down within these types of platform and these type of new shopping experiences, this is because there's enough data on their side to say that this is a new way that people and new consumers are going to want to shop.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is definitely gonna be successful, and I think there's gonna see a lot of quick adoption. So let's keep an eye on it. But what do you got for your story?
Well, very aligned to your first story, but this is with WPP that this week has announced a 5 years partnership. They already had a partnership with Google, but this is an extension of their existing partnership. 400 million partnership with Google that essentially is going to embed their AI products such as Gemini and other video generator like VO within the WPP owned AI. So that's called WPP opened. Um, Something to, I guess, highlight before we into deep dive into the partnership itself. WPP has been, I would say, struggling for the last couple of months, and actually their share price has been at the lowest since 28. So since the financial crisis of 28, I think a lot of reason behind has been loss of clients. I think they haven't been able to catch up with a lot of other agencies like publicists that are doing really well at the moment around adapting their processes and offering involving AI. So WPP is now catching up with their new CEO, Sandy Rose. And this is the first partnership that she's doing and the first initiative to essentially bring back WPP to the excellence and I guess the growth that we know them to have. To deep dive a little bit into what this partnership is going to entail, it's essentially, I guess, an integration on a lot of the Google AI tools within their own processes. But they also are putting a focus in a lot of the press release I could find in the production of content. And this is something that Nick, we discussed. I think that was one of my bets actually, which was one of the, I guess, the objective behind it is being able to create more content that's going to be more customized to consumers, meaning that you might have a main video, a main storyline, but maybe the storyline changes slightly or the messaging slightly, and it is a lot more tailored to the individual that is consuming that content.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I think every agency, every company needs to be leveraging AI into their workflows, and I think it's smart when you partner with like the AI leaders and you leverage the models that they have and the offerings that they have. So yeah, it seems like a no-brainer to me.
Absolutely. What do you have next?
So next, I have a fun one, a short one, but it's McDonald's. They have a new partnership with Street Fighter 2, which is like the coolest thing I've seen in a while. So there's these new commercial spots that have come out, and they look exactly like the old school 16-bit Street
Yeah.
Fighter 2 game. Have you seen these?
I have, yes. They are amazing. They're
They looked
really cool.
super dope. It took me right back to 1991 when I bought the Super Nintendo game of Street Fighter 2 and brought it home, and put it in my Super NES. Uh, it was awesome. So this campaign is definitely leaning into nostalgia. There's a ton of
Yes.
people online there talking about it that are having a lot of fun with it, and it's essentially promoting 3 new burgers that have come out, each one inspired by a different character. So Ryu, he's got the burnt garlic mayonnaise and egg teriyaki burger. Chun-Li, he's got the fried chicken and sweet and sour mayo sandwich. And Ken, he just has a triple cheeseburger, which I'm not mad at. Um, but if you think that some of those descriptions of burgers are a little odd, you would be right. Those are Japanese inspired sort of flavors that you see at the burger joints out in Japan, like Mos Burger and whatnot.
Yeah.
They're awesome. But this campaign is only for Japan. So this, unfortunately, if you don't live in Japan, you won't be able to like take advantage of the food or the campaign. But yeah, what do you think about all this?
I love it. I think it's quite interesting. Japan, the Japanese market for gaming we know that they are a little bit maybe more traditional. Like with Nintendo, there is a lot of nostalgia in the game that they play. Like the top games are still within the Switch. So I don't know. And they still have like a very like arcade culture there. Uh, all classic games there. So I just feel like this just feels right for the market. And again, it goes back to what you and I often talk about. It really every brand can get into gaming, but McDonald has been very clever at, you know, if we do something in the US, let's do something on Fortnite. And if we do something in Japan, well, actually, let's tap into nostalgia culture because we know that this is what works. They've really been adapting their gaming strategy to the markets that they are targeting. So I still recommend people, you can still find the videos online. So go check them out because I thought they were really cool, like really funny.
Yeah.
And the triple cheeseburger is calling my name, so I'm very, very sad that this is not coming here.
Yeah, they're badass. What do you got? Last story.
So last story, also a short one, but I thought that was actually really groundbreaking and a platform that we don't speak about a lot, which is Twitch. So the beauty company E.L.F. Has, for the first time, tested shoppable Amazon ads on Twitch. So this is the first time that they are rolling out this type of ads, and E.L.F. is the first brand to essentially make the most out of it. So you can now have an ad that allows you to buy the product directly onto Twitch without having to get out of your live stream or the content that you're currently watching.
Do you think the Twitch community, Twitch users want to shop while they're using the app?
I feel like because, I think Twitch is a little bit different, I would say, than like VOD, where you are very focused on the content, and every time an influencer is telling you a product, very like it happens. Like there's always going to be product where you like, let me continue and open a new tab to be able to get information about this product. For Twitch, or at least is purely anecdotal. It's something that I have on the background on a second screen, and then I'm doing something else
Yeah.
because you're in there for hours. So I don't think people like active, like there's a few moments probably of, hype moments where people are really engaged and that they're on the chat. But I feel they probably have a live stream, a companion on their second screen, and it could be something that for the right product and obviously the right consumer, it could be that actually the product responds exactly to a need. I think I'm more interested to see how Amazon is. We were talking about Walmart and how they are going to gather, I guess, insight to know if and when someone needs a product. Amazon has similar kind of volume of data, and I think this is the first time that I'm seeing, I guess, the Amazon technology making it onto on Twitch. I feel like Twitch has always been a little bit like separate to the Amazon family. So maybe there is something that can be a little bit more connected. I don't know. I think I haven't seen any of these ads, so I don't know how the UI works at the moment. But I'm hoping that this is something that's, you know, they're aware that the person hadn't bought a specific product, and if that ad comes up, that may be a more likely chance for them to buy it. Not sure how that will play out, but I feel like this Twitch is the right platform to probably shop
Yeah.
compared to like a VOD.
Yeah, I think if you do something that's like heavily targeted, it's
Yes,
like this
yeah.
type of game, and we got streamers covering that, and it's items that are relevant to that are limited, that are available on Amazon.
Mhm.
Like you make that connection, and then you get a lot of traffic, and you get those direct sales. I think something like that makes sense. I think selling toilet paper or something on in this way, like I don't think anyone is going to do that. So let's see what happens.
No, probably not. It probably will be like, I don't know. We'll see. Like I think that's where Elf. I'm not too sure how that perform. I'm assuming because they're not shouting out about the numbers that it's not. We're not talking about millions of units that have been sold, but I think it's still quite interesting because I think Twitch was,
You
you
got to
know,
start somewhere with
you got to start
innovation and
somewhere. And I
innovative
think this is the
commerce.
first innovative thing that we're seeing from Twitch coming up in a while. So I'm excited for the platform because I think it was getting eaten by the TikTok lives, YouTube lives in general. So
Yeah.
maybe a resurgence. Let's see.
Yeah, we'll keep our tabs on it. But let's keep moving. I'm excited because Albane, I'm a fan of Sesame Street. It's been around forever, and it's impacted my life, my kids' lives, and
Yeah.
I'm curious about this real time review. So, Albane, please take us to Sesame Street. Let's go to the real time review. That's it for this week's news highlights. If you're watching on YouTube, don't miss the full episode featuring our real-time review of Sesame Street Neighborhood Adventure on Roblox and our interview with Magali Huot, the Senior VP of Global Gaming at Dentsu. See you there.
views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views, policies, or positions of host employers. The information shared during this podcast is based on personal experience and publicly available information and is intended for informational purposes only. Any references to specific platforms, companies, or partnerships are made in a personal capacity and do not imply endorsement, partnership, or official association with any organization mentioned.